Well, number one, I had the best interview today with Carlene Carter. How cool
I
is
saw
that?
that.
You did?
Well, no,
That
I
is,
didn't see. I saw where that she was going to be on there, and I'm like,
yes, but we did that, and she was just as fantastic as you would think. She was wonderful and such a wonderful gal and such a part of the country's history. Had so much fun talking to her. That was fun.
oh yeah, I was surprised she was going to be on there, but then I was surprised Doug Kershaw was on there.
Yes, that's the deal. It's getting bigger. I'm just telling. We're doing all the right things. And let me say that tomorrow at 5 o'clock we're going to have Kaz Murphy on to do another 5 at 5. It's going to be very fun. The one I did with Dave Stuck yesterday, that was very fun. I love talking to him every time. And also our blues one last night.
Yeah, they did. Um, man, but I tell you, my favorite blues player from the last few years, and he retired, and
Okay,
I liked him, and I'm probably one of the few that was a favorite.
right,
Bo Meester.
right. Okay, I knew what you
Oh,
were
I
going to
mean,
say.
he was a good defenseman. I mean, they'd
Was
always talk about, well, he don't do that much. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's
right.
not going to go out and score a bunch of points and all, but he's tall and he's got long arms, and yeah. And then, man, he had his heart quit, while they were
Right.
playing last year. And oh,
Oh yeah.
well, I don't know that he retired. I just assume that he retired. Yeah,
I would say at this point he's retired. I mean,
but I like Schwartz.
yes. So he's fantastic. Oh,
Oh, he's
there's
a
our friend
hustler,
Rob.
and oh,
Let's
I'm on there, aren't I?
no. Here's Rob. Let's get him on here. Let's see. How do I add him? The glasses go on,
You need
and
to get some money people on here.
well, anyway, we're talking to my friend Rob Adams, and Rob is live. There he is. Are you in Dallas?
Hey, I'm in Dallas, knee deep in rubber. How y'all
Hey,
doing?
All
Hey,
right.
Mike.
hey, wait a minute. Which way?
Hey, Dale.
Oh, this way. Oh,
Well,
wait a minute.
absolutely. And so, first of all, I met Rob at a concert for our great musical icon, Dwight Twilley. And it was kind of a strange meeting, but I've known Rob ever since. He's always been a really awesome guy. And when I had him on the podcast, he talked about his kind of interaction with you. And so, Rob, kind of tell your story.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Is this mud flap or speed bump?
I'm much.
I've
Well,
got the vernacular down. So,
I wanted to be mud flap, but I already gave that to Dale, so it's
Yes.
speed
well,
bump. That's
I
kind of
think
good.
you said yesterday you might be speed bump.
Right.
So,
Well,
I
yeah,
guess
and my life as I get older, I rattle off stuff just all the time, and I can't even tell you what I'm rattling off. It's hey, I'm at the vet to pick up my dog. There goes a cute little dog. Look at that dog.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that's
all right.
okay, Rob. Tell your story of how you interacted with Mike back in the day.
So, was playing with Jim Halopter, J. Doyle Halopter for people that
Oh
know him
my
now.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
blast from the past. So,
I,
um,
I had to put it together, and as soon as you said that, yeah, okay.
and then our drummer was Dale Daniel, remember?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think Mike, he got your name and number from a flyer at maybe the Rock Shop or
Yeah.
uh,
Probably.
and it said hey, looking for bass guitar and drum. And I believe the first time we got together, we practiced in a house over by SMS.
We might have done that. Did didn't we practice? Didn't we rent a little room in a strip mall or something where you go
Yeah,
in?
over on Meadowmere by Kraft,
Yeah.
which is where
Planned
yeah,
Parenthood was in there somewhere.
exactly. And I don't know if you remember, but the Mike always had the best equipment, and
Yeah.
we rented a kind of a small office I don't
It
know
is
how you
cram
pulled it
full.
off, Mike, but you did.
Yeah.
And I think the only condition is we obviously couldn't practice during the day. We had to practice from 7 o'clock on.
Yeah.
And so Jim and I went over there, and we were working on some songs. And then one of the PA speakers went out, and so Mike was down on the ground trying to figure it out and trying to play with the wires. And then here walked Dale, our drummer. And Mike's like, oh, man, that's the first thing the guy saw is us piddling around with the equipment. So anyway, we started playing, and I heard
And
you
you
talk
played
about
the bass, right? You played bass.
Yeah, I played bass, and Jim played guitar.
And you and Jim were good friends. Yeah.
Yeah, Jim and I were good friends. And then Dale, we found kind of through the process. And Mike was our band leader. I can say that Mike was always organized.
Right.
Kind of.
No, you were. The thing that impressed me about you, Mike, is you were totally on the business side before us guys even thought about the business side, right?
You guys were so far from the business side. We needed somebody like me because you guys were just, you too. You were the, for lack of other words, you were the party animal, but I would say party, but you were the character. I mean, you were, and I just remember you were a real tall guy and everything. And Jim was always that kind of quiet. He was kind of like Adam Sandler or something, but he was, man, he could play. He could flat play. And we didn't do many gigs though.
Yeah, we, you know what, I remembered, I was kind of going through my mind here, and I know we played Butler High School. It was probably their homecoming.
Yeah,
and,
probably.
And we were a classic 80s rock band, Dale.
Yep.
We played REO, Speedwagon, Player, Doobie Brothers.
I can't hear you.
Phone call. You guys still there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry about that.
I lost it too.
So anyway, we played all the 80s songs, and so Butler, and then Warsaw. I remember we played their prom, and let's see. One of the greatest memories I had is we played like the Signal or KA house at Mizzou, and it was one of these deals.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
was that the band that did the KA house at Mizzou?
Yeah, that was
Talk
that
about
was
a
us.
drunk fest.
Well,
and then afterwards they said we could spend the night, right, if we wanted to.
Yeah, and
it was kind of like we could spend the night if we could find a room. Every door you opened was at least two people in the bed, and the sheets were going up and down. It's like, oh yeah, we can't stay there. Okay. Well, hey, there's another really good memory too. We played somewhere, and I trusted you guys to drive. We had a school bus. I trusted you guys to take the bus home because I don't know why I didn't. And you guys were like, I don't know where you even took it to, but I turned these guys loose with. That was our tour bus. It was a school bus, but it was do you remember that?
I do. It was great. In fact, I ended up driving it home.
Okay.
And my grandfather saw it, and he grew up as a musician. So I'm going to go back to that story. Let me tie the knot and put it in a perfect little bow on the Mizzou story.
Okay,
so we started at like 9 at night.
Yeah.
And of course, it was like Animal House, Dale. Everybody there was just wild and drunk and crazy, and we were playing in like a basement room, and it was packed, butt to nut in there, totally packed. And I don't know if Mike remembers this, so it's about 1 o'clock, and we're finishing up Freebird, which was our encore, and they brought out this football player, and this guy was probably 6'8", and he probably was 250 pounds, solid muscle. And the guy that Mike had dealt with to book the gig said, hey, you guys don't mind to play about 30 more minutes, do you? And we're like, oh, no, not at all. We value our life. But but we man, we had some fun. I don't even remember, anything about the money. I just remember he was buttoned up and he was the businessman. And I'll tell you, I was on the podcast, probably 2-3 weeks ago with Dale, and I told the story about playing the muscular dystrophy dance-a-thon.
Yeah.
And that was Lofter, myself, and a guy named Pete Garrett, a drummer. But anyway, we didn't have the prime spot. We played at 6 in the morning. So this is like the morning after, where the dancers are basically dead, hanging on to each other. And Mike, being the industrious guy that he was and is, he had the contacts there. We played at 8 at night at McDonald Arena, and that place was packed. Right. There was probably 800 people in there. And I heard you say earlier, Mike, about, we were kind of like the minor leagues, right? You were in the minor leagues when you were doing this. This was about as close as I ever got to being a rock star. And Mike, go ahead.
I did different muscular dystrophy marathons at SMA, over whatever you want to call it, with different bands. I mean, different.
Oh yeah.
This guy's different. This guy's different. And it was. I mean, I always got good spots, and it was always packed out with all the people that were raising money, and then people that just. Back in those days, it was different. Nothing to do. It's Saturday night. Let's go over and watch all the bands play. And it was like being a rock star in that place. I mean, it really was. And man, these are good stories, because I forgot about all this stuff. I told Dale the other day, I'm not sure I know who this is. I don't know. And all I would have had to heard was some of these stories. I forgot all about the thing.
Right. And that's why I just tried to make sure that you knew that Rob wanted to come on, because he was in the band.
Yes. That was the Mizzou thing. That was like the Animal House gig, and like I said, I don't know if Rob remembers it, but the guy that paid me told us, "You guys just spend the night if you want to," and he goes, "I go, where do we sleep?" He goes, "Just pick any room, and it's a frat house. You just go down the hallway." And I swear, I don't know if Rob did. I know I was trying to find somewhere for us all to sleep. Every door I opened was just stuff going on that I wished I was in there.
Right.
With that going on. And I think we ended up sleeping in the bus or driving home that night or something.
No, we went to like a Motel 6 in Camdenton and bunked up 2 to a room.
Oh my God.
And we had some guys working with us that were doing sound and hauling equipment. But back to McDonald Arena, one of the funny things is, like I said, Mike always had the best of equipment, and he had great lighting, great PA equipment, and he had these flash pots. And so he's telling us before the show, "Hey guys, these flash pots, they put up a pretty good explosion. So at the appropriate time, you need to stand back or it'll burn your hair off."
Did we use them?
We did. So we were playing like Too Hot to Handle, and we were
on
the rock and roll part, and Mike was playing his Flying V, the one that he has today, and Dale was cranking on that cowbell part on Too Hot to Handle. And then Mike kind of gave me a look, and I was so thinking I was Paul McCartney and playing my part. I was too close to the dang flash pot, and Mike had to say, "Rob, get back." I'm like, "What?" And then boom, the thing went off and damn near knocked me over.
Dale, we designed these things, and me and another guy, Herman Johansson. Anyway, we just made wooden troughs, and they had about a 10-inch or foot-long little area, and we had 2 nails sticking up through them. And all you did, you took a piece of wire and put it from one nail to the other, and each one we had, maybe there was 12 or 15 or 20 across there. And then you had them wired just like a lamp or something. And, we had them on a switch, or you plug them in. Whenever you plugged it in, that current went through all those wires, and ever how much flash powder you put there is how big a spark and everything it did. Now, other time, not with this band, but I had some times when my buddy, he'd say, man, I put a lot of flash powder. I put like I put that much. And I mean, and you know what? And it got to where we always used it with a Kiss song. Yeah, because if Kiss can do all that stuff, we can do it.
Right.
And we had it go, yeah, I remember telling you, get back. But we had a few times where the thing went off, and it was and when we made it, we didn't know anything about wiring stuff. Because okay, one wire goes on one nail, and then that nail goes to the next, and it just makes a whole big loop and then comes back. We took the 2 prongs that go into the wall and take one prong on one nail and one prong on the other nail. So we were automatically putting the hot with the ground right there. And first couple times we tried to do it, it almost blew up where we were. But see, man, Rob, you got in on some good stuff here, and I had somebody tell me one time, they go, you really ought to write a book about all this going through life, having these bands and stuff.
Right.
And, actually, me with all the different people I played with, and even especially this, Jim Halopter, he was, he lived there with his parents, and,
oh yeah,
they didn't really, he had to kind of sneak off the band. No, not really, but, they'd rather he'd been going to law school or something. But
Right.
Jim was a very good guitar player.
Right.
I mean, whatever song you wanted to do, bam, he had it right there. I mean, he just knew it. He played a Les Paul, I think, didn't he?
yeah, he sure did. That Tobacco Burst Les Paul,
Yep.
and he plays in one of the greatest rockabilly bands in Kansas City. In fact, I have booked them in Springfield, so the next time they play in Springfield, I'll let you know so you can come up and maybe jump in on a song.
Rob, I'd love to come up. I tell people this often because when I moved to Nashville, it was either live down there and play for tips and live under a bridge somewhere and try to survive.
Sure.
But this other guy said, I hear you're pretty good, on the microphone, this and that. And he was a DJ. And I said, well, yeah, I can hold my ground. And he was doing this singles dance. He goes, get up there and DJ. Show me what you got. Well, I just did. And he left me up there for like 2 hours. And so he hired me. So he was sending me out to do all these DJ gigs. Now, instead of playing guitar in bands around Nashville and getting like $20 in the tip jar or something like that, all of a sudden I was going out doing weddings and corporate things that paid anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for the night. And I'm going, I got a laptop with a hard drive and I push a button and play a song. And I got people coming up, patting me on the shoulder going, man, that's some great DJ work you did tonight.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, great stuff is back when you played and you learned your instrument and you hung out with the guys and you did that. But I said that because I learned musicians were always kind of like a family. Musicians
Right.
were always out to help everybody.
Sure.
I got in the DJ world. Oh, you talk about a cutthroat thing because a lot of it's a bunch of guys that know nothing about music except they bought a laptop and a hard drive.
Sure.
I had you've been in music. I had a DJ one time and he goes, well, I'm going to buy 2 of these Crown power amps. And they were each one 2-channel, pretty powerful. I go, what do you need 2 for? You're doing DJ stuff. Well, I need 1 for the left channel and 1 for the right channel.
Oh, my Lord.
Why? Well, stereo. I go, do you not understand? It's not going to sound any different than if you just use 1 of those. Stereo's good if you got some sound man who wants to do some cool little stuff with it. But I go, well, I'm going to buy 2 of them anyway. They're only $1,200 a piece. Okay, whatever.
Oh, my
But
Lord.
musicians will go back and remember each other and stuff like this. The DJ world, let me tell you, geez. And then the DJ world got to where I was having to play every song that I don't like because they're way out of my age group. And I don't mean anything by it, but as at a bowling alley one night playing, I was supposed to play everybody's requests. I got the guy coming up and he's pulling his pants up and he's going, male ism. He goes, and I go, what? He goes, I go, dude, here's a pen and a paper. Can you write that down? I go, here's the deal. I'm old. You're not. I don't listen to what you listen to going down the road, and you don't listen to what I listen to. Now, in saying that, I'm sure what you're asking me for is an awesome song, and I probably got it there on the hard drive. I'll be glad to play it. And then, I'd get the guy, man, come on, I need some of this. I go, he don't have anything halfway clean, and we kind of need to, at this gig, keep that in mind. Oh, man, this is clean. Got to the last part of the song, and it's MF, MF, MF.
Right.
I kill it and put something else on real quick. Man, you're killing me. I told him, because I'm always coming up with weird shit. I said, listen, if I die tomorrow and I go to heaven and St. Peter goes, hey, Mike Reed, what are you doing, buddy? Come over here. Let me get you signed in. And then he goes, oh, wait a minute. He shuts the gate. He goes, did you play this song last night? I go, yeah. He goes, dude, you ain't, here, you got to work out at the heaven gym or something for a year before we can try to.
Well, I want to make sure that we talk about Rob's, all the stuff that he's doing with music is so cool. And so tell me about your enterprising deal kind of after your career and promoting these concerts.
Yeah, I want to hear it too.
So really what's funny is that Dale mentioned the first time that we met.
Right.
I had been talking with Jan Twilley, Dwight Twilley's wife,
right,
about coming to Dallas just because I was wanting to come see him play. Not that I was going to promote or book the show. And out of the blue, she sent me a message on Facebook and said, hey, we're going to St. Louis. We need an in-between spot for a performance. And I thought, well, in between Tulsa and St. Louis is Springfield, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I know Springfield, Missouri. I was going to have a party anyway. Why don't I just book you guys for the party? And so that's really where the thing took off. And then I came home and posted a picture on Facebook, and a guy contacted me. Guy by the name of Don Washawn, a prominent promoter here in the Metroplex. And one thing led to another, and we had lunch, and he talked me into getting into it because I told him about, playing in bands growing up. And so I've done shows with Gary Myrick and John Waite, Tommy Two-Tone, and Dwight Twilley that I mentioned. I just announced yesterday that I'm doing 3 shows coming up, partnering with Knucklehead Saloon, legendary place up in Kansas City, and partnering with a band called the M80s, the premier 80s band in Kansas City, in the metro area. And the 16th of April will be Tommy Two-Tone. The 21st of May will be Gary Myrick, and September 11th will be John Ford Coley. And this band, the M80s, will be backing them up. And it's very exciting and looking forward to it. And,
is that where you live? You live in Kansas City?
No, actually, I live in Dallas. I worked
Metroplex. Okay.
Yep, in the Metroplex. I worked for the phone company for like 22 years, and they made me an offer I couldn't refuse, so I jumped out of the plane and retired. And I've been retired for about 3 years now, and I just promote music on the side, and it's a way to stay.
Do you know a lot of bands out of Kansas City?
M80s.
There was a band there called Cherry Bomb.
I've heard of Cherry Bomb.
I used to have a drummer named Frank, but he went back to his original name, Alex, and he's very good. But see, I used to, after we played, I played all over the place in Kansas City. I mean, One Block West, I don't know if that's there anymore. That was where everybody before they were somebody played, and then also down in the downtown where all the different bars were and everything.
Right.
But so you're in Dallas now.
Yeah, I'm in Dallas. I've been here 22 years. I have 2 boys, 27 and 24. Wife has a photography business, but obviously everything's kind of been ground to a halt with the COVID outbreak. So we're hoping for things to get back to normal as everything
Rob
is
is a big Cardinals fan and sports fan, and does so much cool stuff with sports as well.
Oh yeah, of course we got to talk about our Blues getting a win last night.
Yes,
4-1, baby.
Gloria. Yeah.
Yeah, our board was stellar between the pipes. I only watched the first period.
I have a Golden Knights hat on, but
we won't forgive you for it.
I had a Blues hat on.
That's all right. I grew up hating the Dallas Cowboys, and I know how it is when you get an affinity to another team. And I live here now, and I love the Cowboys. But You know, Mike, I heard you tell your Garth Brooks story
Yeah.
at your gig in Stillwater. Obviously, another piece that would go in your book, and I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
So I have friends that went to TU, Tulsa University,
Wow.
and they played in a band called the Spud Boys, and they would tell me stories of playing around Tulsa, and this guy would be there in a cowboy hat, and he would come up and talk to them at the break and say, "Hey guys, do you care if I jump up on stage and just play my acoustic guitar and sing a couple of songs?" And
Wow.
the guy had a weird first name, and next thing they knew, he was a multi-mega millionaire superstar, and it was Garth Brooks. So that's a neat story that you have, Mike, of him jumping up on stage and played with you, and you guys being so nice to him.
I got so many memories. You know, I look, wow, maybe I should have done something different in life, but I could never go back to all the things I've done. I mean, in Kansas City, I'd have the punk rock band, kind of like Sex Pistols or somebody like that, come and go, "Hey man, you got to play a song while you're on break." We go, "Yeah, okay, go ahead." And they get up on stage and rah, 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 and then start spitting on the stage. And I'm going, I tell the band, "You're spitting all over everything." And, you know, at the end of it, they go, "Can we do another one?" I go, no, we can only do one. Yeah, that's it. But it's
right. Got to clean the stage.
In Dallas, I used to play at Billy Bob's a lot.
Oh man,
and
it's still
the sound man there his name was Bear, and my picture was hanging in his office. And we were there one time playing just a one night thing, and the lady that ran the souvenir store, she took a liking to us, and she's like, "So where are you guys headed then when you leave here tonight?" We go, "We don't have anywhere to go. We don't have a motel or anything." We go, "We're going to your house." She goes, "No, I can't take a band to my house." She goes, "Not to mention you're in." And then we had a tour bus, and I go, well, I got a bus." So finally she was like, "Okay, just park it in my front yard and you guys sleep in the living room."
Oh, how fun.
And we did it. And probably 6 or 8 months we were going through town, and we stopped at Billy Bob's, and there she was. She goes, "Oh my God." And she grabbed her purse, and she had probably 50, 60 pictures. "I took all these that night. You guys were at my house. I've been waiting for you to come back here." So in
That's
the music
awesome.
business, yeah, we need to get Rob. You need to be down here in Branson.
Yes, I knew that you guys had. I knew this would be fun, and that's why I tried to set up, because I knew you guys need to meet and re-meet, shall we say?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's funny, Mike, is my second job out of college, part of my territory was Lebanon. So I was out foot canvassing Lebanon. I pulled into a music store off of 5.
Right.
There you go, right across the street from the cemetery. And I go in there. Yep. And the first thing I see is your band photo with you guys in cowboy hats. And I was like, "Oh, be damn, there's Mike Reed."
Yeah, I knew Mike. I knew him really well. And we'd go up there and buy some stuff from him. But then I knew Mark Morton at the Rock Shop. And in those days, John Gott was there with him. And
sure.
Then while I was in Nashville, I didn't realize he was down there, but then I got to know Soup pretty good. And I told Dale his Center of Nowhere about Springfield. Mm-hmm. All those guys I knew really well. I just didn't hang out in Springfield and play with them because I was out traveling playing.
Right.
But Rob, I think I saw an ad on a board at a Casey's that said wanted one Rob to move back to Branson and help mud flap and speed bump with a project.
You're the ticket, right?
Yes, clearly. That's right. And so anyway, I'm just telling you that it's so fun to get out here and talk about this stuff. And again, the Center of Nowhere, such a great DVD and all that stuff. And I got to tell you, if you didn't listen to the interview I did with Carlene Carter, that was really wonderful. All the stuff we're going to talk about the Carter family, and then just all the way up to Johnny Cash and Carl Smith and everybody. Really great stuff.
Yeah, well, that's great stuff, but that ain't nothing like me and Rob. Nothing. Don't even compare. Hey, I got to ask you real quick. What did your bass look like when you played with me?
Oh, man. I had a...
did you have a blue bass?
I had an old. It was called. It was my first bass was like a Pan, which is it was an SG knockoff, and then I had a kind of a Gay Lee black jazz bass.
Yeah. Okay. My mind starts wandering. And oh, hi Dale. We forgot you were here.
No, that's the whole point. This whole idea. I love it.
Yeah, good times. Nobody can take those memories away from you, Mike. You know, you talk about, hey, maybe I should have done something different. Doing music, that's such an enriching endeavor. And, I encourage you to write the book, man. You've got a million stories to tell. And people want to hear them.
I made a good living all my whole life. Actually, in Nashville, doing DJ stuff. In Nashville, it was. I got to tell you, I was at back in the day when I moved to Nashville. I'll just tell you real quick. Everybody had phones on the wall. Moved there with an ex-girlfriend. Really glad she's an ex-girlfriend, but that was a long time ago. So I'm at a hockey game, sitting on the glass. This guy next to me's got real long blonde hair, and the girl next to him's got real long blonde hair. We're sitting there, and he goes, "Hey, what's your name, man?" I go, "Mike Reed." Are you from like the Springfield, Branson, Missouri area? Yeah. You've been in band your whole life? Yeah. You're a front man? Yeah. Used to wear wireless, walk around on top of tables and be just crazy? Yeah. And he just went on for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow.
He knew my whole life. And he shook my hand. He said, "I'm Ira Dean. And this is Heidi. Heidi, this is the Mike Reed guy." Heidi goes, "Oh, hi, Mike." And Ira goes, Did you live with a girlfriend?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "We left several messages because Trick Pony is 3 people up front. Me, Heidi, and the guitar player. And we decided we were going to hire you as the guitar player." And I'm like, "No way." And he goes, "Did I just not tell you about your whole life?" And then I'd be in Nashville during Fanfare or the music festival, whatever. I'd see Arden talking to some other artist. "Mike, come here. And he'd tell the guy, "Yeah, here's the guy we were going to hire, and the girlfriend didn't give him the message."
Crazy.
I was like, yeah, so that was just a good. Anytime I would ever see him in Nashville, he'd go, "You could have had that job back then." I go, well, you're not doing it now, so I'd be out of work. See, so
right.
But it's but anyway, that sign I seen that said Rob needs to, if you know anybody by the name of Rob, he needs to come to Branson.
Well, I'm gonna be up your way in April, so we definitely need to get together.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. And it's no, did Dale tell you about what we're trying to do in Branson?
You've told him.
So I've kind of 20,000 foot gathered a little bit about, getting the kids up on stage, making a family friendly attraction. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's just called You're the Ticket. And when you can, the show's real inexpensive. So families can go 2 or 3 times a week, and the show's different every night. And there's a list of people that come in that would love to be able to get on a stage and perform. Right. And during the night, we had the little girl, "Oh, that was a great job of Crazy. That was wonderful. Well, gee, Mike, I need to do Jackson. Can you do Johnny Cash?" "No, I can't, but here's a piece of paper. See, Bob from Tulsa. Come on up, Bob." And all of a sudden it turns into, then you got parents like crazy bringing kids there because they win something and they get to come back to the finals on Saturday night. And so you've created, I came up with this from every time I turn on TV, there's a, reality TV on TV.
Sure.
Reality. Yeah. And I got to do America's Got Talent. That was an experience.
Yeah, I heard that story. That's awesome. Got to meet Howard Stern.
And I was always a Howard fan till then. And but I keep it clean. What a ding dong he was. Yeah. To a lot of people. Really, to me.
Right.
"Are you married?" "No, I can see why. No woman would want a guy like you that does something stupid like that."
Well, that's kind of the shtick, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that is his thing, but he took it to the limit.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget Sharon Osbourne. I got to finish that little story with this. It'll be in my brain forever because, because Howard hit his buzzer and hers like in the first 10 seconds. I'm like, what? You know, my face is like, huh? And Sharon goes, well, you can't play that thing like a guitar. I go, I'm a guitar player. And this was the day I die, I'll probably have it just printed on my casket. She says, but it's just a piece of wood. It's just a piece of wood. I had to bite my lip to keep saying, your husband's just a big piece of wood, okay?
Exactly.
But
You
anyway.
can't sing without a teleprompter.
Again, we're so happy. Mudflap and Speed Bump signing off with our friend Rob Adams. So happy to be on here, and thanks for everybody that joins and listens every day. I love it.
Rob, let's do this again.
Hey, absolutely. I'll send you a friend